Okay, let's get right into it. We're breaking down the absolutely shocking story of how one of the UFC's most dominant champions just vanished, right at the absolute peak of his powers.
And this right here, this comment from a fan on Reddit, it pretty much sums up the whole thing. The entire MMA community is just watching in disbelief as this seemingly perfect career suddenly goes completely off the rails. It's baffling.
So to really understand what's happening here, we're going to cover his flawless record, that shocking hiatus he took, his bombshell extortion claims, a rival's absolutely brutal reaction, and of course, how the UFC is trying to move on without him. But first, let's just set the stage and talk about how big of a star we're dealing with.
So before all the controversy and the legal drama, Ilia Toporia's career was, well, it was literally perfect.
I mean, just look at that. 17 wins, 0 losses, a perfect record. And El Matador wasn't just squeaking out wins, you know? He was dominating. He was finishing most of his opponents with this devastating mix of knockout power and slick submission skills that made him look completely unstoppable.
And his rise to the top? It was just breathtakingly fast. In a little over a year, he knocks out the legend, Alexander Volkanovski, for the featherweight title, defends it against another icon in Max Holloway, and then moves up a weight class to snatch the vacant lightweight belt from Charles Oliveira. I mean, it was a truly historic run.
But then, right at the absolute pinnacle of the sport, holding 2 belts, with that perfect record, everything just came to a sudden, grinding halt.
This announcement came out of nowhere, with no new opponent lined up, and this is the crucial part, no timeline for a return. The sport was just left with this giant question mark hanging over one of its biggest stars, and the rumor mill, as you can imagine, just exploded.
Then, on December 15th, after weeks of silence, Topuria finally posted a statement on social media, and the reason for his absence? It was way more complex and way more serious than anyone could have possibly imagined.
And there it is, the bombshell. Topuria alleges that he is the victim of a criminal extortion plot. He's claiming these domestic abuse allegations are completely false, and that they're just being used as leverage to try and get money from him.
Now, I want you to notice how he's choosing to frame this. By using the word extortion, he's defining the situation not as some messy, personal dispute, but as a calculated criminal act that's being committed against him.
And he claims he has the evidence to back all of this up. In his statement, he details that he's already submitted audio, written communications, witness statements, and more to the courts. So he isn't just denying the allegations. He's going on the offensive, pursuing his own legal action for attempted extortion and falsification of evidence.
So while Topuria was laying out this very careful, very legalistic defense, the reaction from some other corners of the fight world was, well, the complete opposite. It was raw, it was emotional, and it got deeply personal.
Leading the charge was his former opponent, Bryce Mitchell. Now, you might remember their 2022 fight. Topuria pretty much dominated and submitted him, and it seems like there's definitely no love lost there. Mitchell just unleashed this absolutely blistering rant on social media, showing zero sympathy and making his feelings crystal clear.
Mitchell's comments are really the perfect example of the public trial getting underway, you know? It's completely separate from the legal one. While Topuria is trying to build a case based on evidence, Mitchell's reaction just bypasses all of that and appeals directly to emotion. It's a pretty stark reminder that in a story like this, there are 2 courts in session, the court of law and the court of public opinion.
So with its champions sidelined indefinitely in this very serious legal battle, the UFC, which is a business at the end of the day, had to make a decision. They just couldn't let the entire lightweight division stall out.
And you can see the consequences right here. They were immediate. Back in June, the division had one undisputed king. Fast forward to January, and the whole thing is in this weird limbo. Topuria is still technically the champion, but the UFC went ahead and created an interim title to crown a temporary ruler while he's gone.
So they made it official, a high-stakes interim title fight for UFC 324. It's a massive opportunity for both Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett because the winner is pretty much guaranteed a shot at Topuria to unify the belts if, and that's a big if, he ever comes back.
And ultimately, that's what this all comes down to, right? Topuria's perfect 17-0 record is still there, it's still intact on paper, but his entire legacy, now it all hangs in the balance. The biggest fight of his life is no longer in the octagon, it's in a courtroom, and the outcome of that fight is going to define his career forever.